The podcast you are about to listen to contains at least one of the following: strong language, disturbing topics, abusive opinions, generally things that aren't appropriate for little kids or overly sensitive people. So, if any of that stuff's going to get your nose out of joint, this is your chance to turn it off. Welcome to I Had to Say It, the podcast where I not only say the things I need to say, but the things I think you need to hear. And your feelings, they're not a factor. Everybody, welcome to another episode of I Had to Say It. So we're going to start out as we do by saying to Josh, Iceman, Jason, Miss Aaron, Mike, Tabby, Javier, Fitz, McShane, El Heaven, El Devlin, El Morte, the guys at the Weathered Report, and last but not least, Billy G. Thank you guys so much for your support and your constant listenership. I really appreciate it. It's one of the things that keeps me going. Now, granted, I've said it in the past, and I'll say it again, that I would probably do this even if nobody listened because it's therapy for me, but I really appreciate the fact that you guys want to hear what I have to say every week, and occasionally let me know how nice I sound and all those other things. It just tickles me. You guys are awesome. You're the bestest. If you would like to also be the bestest, feel free to go to patreon.com/I had to say it, or you can go to Buy Me a Coffee, or you can go to the website, www.ihadtosayitpodcast.com, and you can click the links there, sign up to be a supporter, and you will get your name added in with these absolutely amazing, brilliant, wonderful, smarter than you, better looking than you, more attractive, more fun, and way more fun to be around people just by, kicking in. Okay, enough shilling. So let's get to the point. All right, it's been a shit show of a week, and it is leading up to. I had plans, I had ideas, I had things I wanted to talk about that were going on in the world, and then the ultimate stupidest fucking thing that could possibly be going on in our current political climate and in our current state of affairs in this country, the dumbest shit that could be happening, but ultimately I'm going to say was inevitable, realistically, because of the way the world is working right now, the way the smooth brain motherfuckers have decided the world is supposed to work, the way things are going in this country at this point. And somebody took a shot at Trump. And I don't mean like somebody was talking shit. If you're living under a fucking rock, because I guarantee if you're listening to me, you are already well aware this happened, and you are only listening because other than the fact that you're one of my regular listeners and you listen every week because you guys are, again, wonderful people and you're smart and intelligent and beautiful and well-read and have fantastic hygiene and wonderful hair and or lack thereof, depending on however you want to look at it. You're all amazing. But anyway, none of you guys don't see this coming. Now, we are going to talk about somebody shot, as in with a gun, if you're living under a rock, at Donald Trump during a fucking rally 3 days before, was it 3 days? 2 days. 2 days before the RNC kicks off in Milwaukee. And they grazed him. They winged him. As of everything I've seen at the moment, the shooter clipped his ear. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the shooting itself. I'm going to talk more about thoughts I have that come directly from this just brazen act of fucking stupidity and the consequences of everything that has happened since said brazen act of fucking stupidity. Now, Trump got shot at. People got wounded that were not Trump, because the shooter fucking missed. The one bullet clipped Donald Trump's ear. And you could see, if you watch the videos everywhere on the internet, I'm sure everyone's seen it by now. You hear some pops, he grabs the side of his head, and he goes down. 2 people in the crowd behind him were hit. One person was fatally shot, protecting, and it came out after the fact, and a statement was released by the family. This man was a retired firefighter. He died protecting his daughter and his wife and their family, shielding them with his body, and he caught one in the head and died on the scene. 2 other people were critically wounded by strays. The shooter was killed by the Secret Service and was a 20-year-old. Well, okay, this kid, it's really early on in the process here. We don't have a lot of verified information. We have a lot of really suspicious shit involved in this, and there are people out there more qualified and better versed in ballistics and security and all these other things than me. But even from a casual standpoint of someone who has common fucking sense, this never should have happened. It stinks on fucking ice. It reeks of a fucking either incompetence or a setup. I don't know which one actually worries me more. Now, Trump's Secret Service detail was pretty much the definition of fucking why DEI is a bad thing. You've got women who cannot restrain him and hold him down, cannot shield him with their bodies because they're not big enough, do not have any kind of competency with their firearms, do not have any kind of real training to react to these situations as this man's security detail. There were a couple of snipers on site, or counter snipers is technically what they are, because they're there to shoot somebody if they shoot at the president. Or, well, yeah, technically referring to him as the president is correct. He's a former president. He's President Donald Trump. But he's also the leading Republican nominee. As we go into the RNC, he's. I mean, let's face it. He's the fucking nominee. He's the guy. Nobody else is going to get the delegates. He's the fucking guy. What remains to be seen is what remains to be seen. But ultimately, just looking at this shit with a very casual eye, anybody that has played a fucking first-person shooter could find things that were wrong with this scenario leading up to Trump getting shot at. First and foremost being there was not significant bodies on the ground in terms of law enforcement there. They did not have all the place that this kid shot at him from was 100 and some odd yards away. So an easy shot for anybody who's really any kind of marksman. And even someone who's probably casual could most likely make the shot with a halfway decent rifle. I mean, it's practically zeroing in range for a rifle, you know? And there was a little bit of wind and other stuff. And a lot of people are already saying this is divine providence. This is a sign that God didn't let Trump die. And if that's what you want to believe, hey, more power to you. I honestly think it's more a case of circumstances, coincidence, and just somebody who probably shouldn't have been fucking being the one shooting at him. Now, and there's a lot of rhetoric coming out about this kid and all this other shit. He tried to make his high school's rifle team, and his shots were so horrible he couldn't even be considered for it. There's already rumors circulating, and it's way too soon for anything to be verified. I'm actually going back and adding stuff in here. As Monday night, as of this point, the FBI saying they can't crack this 20-year-old kid's phone to find out any of his history or his movements or anything else, which is utter horseshit because it just kind of adds to the fuel for the conspiracy theorists saying this was an inside job or this kid was given access. And we're going to touch on that a little bit here, too, because ultimately the FBI managed to track down every fucking grandmother that was at January 6th, regardless. Every cell phone carrier has access to all the data from those phones, so don't tell me you can't crack the fucking shooter's phone. That's utter horseshit. Nobody believes it. All that's doing is feeding the conspiracy fuel. So the other thing about this is, looking at photos and other shit, how did this kid know that particular roof with a perfect line of sight to the stage was going to be unguarded? How did he know where the ladder was going to be to get up onto the roof? How was it that nobody noticed him walking with a ladder, if he brought the ladder himself, to get onto the roof of the building to have perfect line of sight to shoot at the president? How was it that nobody noticed the fucking kid with a rifle climbing up onto the roof? And then the video comes out, a whole bunch of people noticed that there was a kid with a rifle on the fucking roof and tried to notify the local police, and nothing was done about it until the little fucker actually started shooting. And he got multiple shots off before the counter snipers fired back. And I mean, the rumor mills are already churning shit out. Somebody allegedly posted something allegedly claiming to be one of the counter snipers who was saying he is actually being under review because he was not authorized to fire. He just did it to prevent further loss of life. And a lot of other people are saying, why didn't they shoot at this kid before he started shooting when they saw he was on the roof with a fucking gun? And literally, that was like one of the very few spots that was a prime vantage point to have a clear shot at the stage. Why was it not secured? There were all kinds of questions behind this. And it's realistically, they're valid questions. It's too early, as far as I'm concerned, for speculation about it. The facts of the matter, as we know them, stand. This 20-year-old kid climbed down the roof with an AR-style assault rifle, which, the media, of course, has jumped on. The left is already clamoring to use this as an excuse to try and, maybe now the right will be willing to be reasonable about gun control, which is utterly fucking stupid. It's not going to be reasonable about gun control because, they shot at Trump. But the news outlet approach this, they are already all jumping on this. Well, this kid was a Republican, so it's not politically motivated. They've got certain records already. This kid, everything where he comes up anywhere on the radar, donating to Democratic causes. He donated to Joe Biden the day he got inaugurated. He donated to various trans based charities. The kid had no job, had no definable source of income. He got the rifle that apparently his father had purchased. His father is very democratically involved, yada, yada, yada. The kid was in a commercial for BlackRock as a background character and prominently featured, where it was people could pick him out of the commercial really quickly. And that's also got this conspiracy theorists going where, oh, well, his teacher recruited him and groomed him and blah, 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 blah. He was a loner. All these other, he's a misfit. He didn't have any friends and all this other shit that literally it's at this point, with how right the conspiracy theorists have been up to this point, it's really hard to rebut any of this shit. So, but what the media is trying to do is the media is trying to paint this kid as, well, he was a conservative, so there's no way it was, this was not politically motivated. He was just crazy. He was a lone gunman. But like I said, he was active in Antifa and active with various leftist activities over the last couple of years that they have track records and proof of. And everybody is conveniently ignoring. And again, this is because it's coming from the mainstream media that is reporting on this. If you go to any of the other wells of alternative media, leftist rebutting type websites, any of the various independent reports that are coming out on like Twitter or X, you get an entirely different picture painted, and nobody wants to bring up the fact that it's very convenient. They're saying, oh, well, he was a registered Republican, so this couldn't possibly be politically motivated. But 3 months ago, the media, the DNC, all the Democrat bobbleheads were out there saying, you need to go register as a Republican if you're a young person and primary Trump so he's not the candidate. So, yeah, the fact that the kid was registered as a Republican means precisely dick. And registering as part of the party you're not during the primaries so you can try and influence the outcome of the primary elections for you, the opposing candidate, is not a new tactic. It's not a new technique. Just because all these Gen Z motherfuckers think they invented every shady trick on the planet doesn't mean it's a fucking new thing. It just means they're fucking smooth-brained enough to believe it. And speaking of the smooth-brained fuckwits on the left, that brings me to the primary thing that I have noticed in the intervening time since the shooting occurred. Almost immediately, leftist people all across social media, including some people that I know personally, who I have subsequently just completely muted. I'm not completely kicking them off yet because I'm trying to maintain a certain degree of benefit of the doubt for people that I actually know in person, people that I have interacted with in my life. I'm trying to give them the benefit of they will eventually pull their heads out of their asses and stop being so fucking stupid. They will realize how deep they are in the Kool-Aid. They will regret it. They will come back to normalcy and sanity. But I don't know. I talked about this last week. It's actually gotten worse since this shooting has happened. People that are literally spitting out the mainstream leftist rhetoric that led to this fucking kid deciding to go up, kill an innocent person, wound two other innocent people, and take a shot at Trump, wing Trump, and get his own head blown off in the fucking process. And that is this ideology that Trump is going to be the great Satan. He's going to be the downfall of the country. He's going to get into office and he's going to start executing all his fucking political enemies. And everybody who ever pissed him off or made him mad is going to wind up in a gulag and he's going to be worse than fucking Hitler. Hitler advocated for the extermination of an entire race of people. Trump sent out mean tweets and said things that hurt your little fucking feelings. If he was going to be this massive dictator piece of shit that was going to try and commit genocide on the American people, he would have done it the first time. He wouldn't have let Biden into office. He would have said, fuck you, I'm not going anywhere, which is what they're all claiming he's going to do this time. Why would he do it this time? Why would he change his entire thing and say, now I'm going to be a dictator for life and now I'm going to refuse to give up the reins of power when he didn't do it the first time? I mean, yeah, granted, I would be kind of pissed off if I spent the last 3.5 years getting shit on the way he has. I mean, granted, I'm a nobody and that's never going to fucking happen. And other than some general stupid motherfuckers that I have to deal with in real life who probably don't like me too much. But none of them got the stones to do any fucking thing about it, so I really don't concern myself with their issues, their problems, or their fucking complaints, because fuck them. They either badmouth me behind my back, and if they're behind my back, they're in the right position to kiss my ass, but most of them don't have the nerve to say it to my face, and the ones that do say it to my face get told to go fuck themselves. So again, I really don't, I don't have these issues. I got 99 problems. Money ain't one of them. Oh wait, yes, money is all of my 99 fucking problems. I don't give a fuck about people's feelings. I don't give a fuck about people's feelings, because ultimately, at the end of the day, if you're not here to do something for me, if you can't do anything for me, I don't fucking care what you think. If you're not my friend, if you're not somebody whose opinion I value, I don't give a shit if you like me or not. It's that simple. And people have forgotten that that's how the world's supposed to work. You care about what the people you care about think of you. You don't give a shit about the opinions, values of some random fucking stranger who has no impact on your direct fucking life. And these smooth-brained, mouth-breathing, just paste-eating, window-licking, helmet-wearing, fucking shit-stained retards that are on the left right now are out here saying the dumbest, most hateful, ignorant shit that anybody with an iota of common sense or fucking critical thinking or logic in their head would never say. And people I expected better from are echoing this same bullshit. And it's a bunch of smooth-brained, short-sighted, no thought process having motherfuckers that are out here saying the dumbest shit. Oh well, and it's gonna get worse. It really is. And there are like right-leaning influencers, people that have been standing up against the groomers and the fucking people that are calling out the assholes trying to put the child grooming trans ideology bullshit into school libraries and all that. Like people on the right that are, the right wing bobbleheads and talking points who, for whatever reason at this point in my life, are less offensive to me because all they're trying to do is keep things somewhat sane. Keep things like sexuality away from fucking children. As long as that's their agenda and they're not starting to try and put excessive shit on me, I'm going to lean in their direction every fucking time. When it's about keeping kids safe, you got my vote. When it's about keeping people rational and calm and fucking logical, it makes perfect sense to me. When it's about being based more in reality, I'm going to take your fucking side in the conversation. Now, when you start getting all bigoted and hateful leaning the other direction, I'm going to tell you to go fuck yourself too. It's really that simple. I do not believe in extremes on any aspect of things, and that's why the left has completely lost any sympathy or support for me, because they've gone too fucking far. They've gone too fucking extreme. They are bigoted, they are hateful, they are ignorant, and they are fucking stupid. And bigoted, hateful, and ignorant, I can tolerate. Fucking stupidity is unforgivable to me. That we do not live in a world where stupidity should even be a thing, but so many people willingly embrace it because it's so much easier than taking responsibility and being realistic and acknowledging the fucking truth. So we have these smooth-brained shit stains who are out here celebrating the fact that Trump got shot at, celebrating and complaining, like crying because the shooter missed, and oh my God, he had a chance to stop Hitler and he missed. Why do you gotta miss, you dumb motherfuckers? Do you honestly believe that the world is going to be a better place if this man dies? If this man, who has literally at this point been convicted of nothing other than bullshit, just ridiculous, to use the terminology, trumped up fucking charges that every other slimy, line-towing, swamp-dwelling parasite in office has done the same shit, and at the worst gotten a slap on the wrist. Hillary got a fucking fine for exactly the same shit that they're trying to bring charges for. Misuse of fucking campaign funds. Hillary gets a fucking fine. Trump gets 34 fucking felonies. Tell me it's a fair justice system. Tell me it's not biased and they're not actively going after this fucking guy. I don't even like Trump, and I'm sympathetic towards this motherfucker because I believe in reality. I believe in facts. I believe in actual truths. I don't believe that what you feel overrides the actual truth. I don't believe that just because you feel a certain way, you are somehow more special, more valid, or more anything else than any fucking buddy else other than what you bring to the table in terms of merit. So we have all these smooth-brained, window-licking, paste-eating fuckstains who are out here saying, oh, well, next time we'll get him. And we've got celebrities coming out talking shit. We got Jack fucking Black at a concert the next day saying, somebody said, make a wish, and he says, I wish the next shot hits him, or some shit to that effect. So, I used to like Jack Black, but if you're that fucking stupid and you're that fucking indoctrinated, what do they have on you, Jack? How many fucking kids have you diddled on camera somewhere, and now it's going to come out if you don't toe the party line that you're going to fucking go? You're calling for the death of a man who has been literally guilty of nothing other than trying to make the world a better place by stopping stupid shit. And he wasn't even that good at that. I was not a fan of Trump before all this started. I'm still really not a fan of it. But if you're looking at a lesser of two evils situation, I believe the right-wing rhetoric is less damaging to this country than all the commie fucking socialist horse shit coming out of these leftist death cult assholes, because the left has become a fucking death cult. They want fucking limitless, just unconditional abortions. They're using fucking that shit as birth control. They want to encourage kids to go and get trans at fucking ages where they will permanently alter their ability to develop and reproduce. I mean, it's a fucking death cult. It really is. All this environmental horseshit that's tied into it, it's not about the planet. It's about depopulation. That's all it is. They're destroying the food supply. They're destroying the fucking ability of man to take care of ourselves. They are hampering everything. They have this green ideological bullshit that none of it is actually good for the planet, because if they were actually concerned about clean energy, they'd be looking at nuclear. They wouldn't be worried about windmills that become garbage after 20 years and you can't recycle the bullshit fiberglass stuff that they build the blades out of. You can recycle the towers because they're made out of mostly steel and aluminum, and that stuff's recyclable. But the giant blades, all they can do with them once they're worthless is fucking bury them. And there are literally fields of this shit, and they put these solar panels out that are very fragile and damageable, and they don't really put out that much electricity, and they take up hundreds of acres of fucking green land, destroying plants to put up these fucking solar farms, destroying the things that would actually be reducing the CO2 in the air, because CO2 is plant food. The CO2 emissions that they're saying is going to destroy the world, they're destroying the shit that would actually take the CO2 out of the air, put it back into the earth the way nature fucking intended, because of their arrogance, their hubris, and their fucking stupidity. But I digress. So the thing that I was really thinking to in terms of, Trump getting shot and all these stupid motherfuckers who are mourning the fact that the fucking screwball 20-year-old that had no friends, had no fucking resources, had no way in the world, had no actual value, so why not go try and get famous by taking a pot shot at the fucking future president of the country the way things are going? I mean, if anything, this missed shot solidified Trump's going to get the nomination. There's going to be a huge, this amount of support for him has blown up, other than the most deep red or deep blue Kool-Aid drinking motherfuckers on the fucking planet. And these are the assholes who are making posts on social media bemoaning the shooter missed and saying, oh, better shot next time, and the next person better get it right, and da-da-da-da-da. I mean, first off, other than exposing the absolute incompetence of the U.S. Secret Service and the fact that the U.S. Secret Service is presently managed by somebody whose previous job was providing security to Pepsi executives, who was basically a glorified, a agent for booking security guards, and not like the good security guards, the guy who works the door at a bar and looks at a fake ID, and if you flash your tits, he'll still let you in, that kind of fucking security. That, and making sure that they, for the first time ever, they had more women than men in the incoming trainees in the U.S. Secret Service, and Trump's detail was the most diverse Secret Service detail ever. And yeah, it was a bunch of worthless, useless, uncoordinated, fucking panicky, stupid, underfunded, understaffed assholes for the leading candidate to oppose the president. And apparently Trump's people had asked for security increases multiple times because of the possibility of exactly this kind of shit happening, and the request was denied over and over by the DHS. Because Secretary Mayorkas, who is a absolutely worthless piece of shit who doesn't do his job, but he makes a lot of excuses saying he feels they're doing things the right way, even though he's fucking horrible at what he does, and he should be put under a fucking jail for dereliction of duty and treason. But he's like, no, everything's fine. And they are, completely incompetent. And apparently it came out already that a lot of Trump's Secret Service detail in this rally were all like temps and, stand-ins, because a whole bunch of the regular detail that were in that area had been pulled off of Trump's detail to go provide security for Jill Biden. So, yeah, nothing suspicious or questionable about that at all. And again, it's just the incompetence of these people. I don't know what bothers me more, the idea that they're incompetent or the idea that they're complicit. Either way, it's not a good thing for this country. Which again brings me back to the smooth-brained assholes who are bemoaning the fact that Trump's still sucking breath, and how much they would have celebrated and been thrilled if he'd gotten plugged 2 days before actually receiving the nomination from the Republican Party, which is pretty much a lock at this point. I mean, it was a lock going into that, but actually let me check real quick. I believe as of right now, it is official. Donald Trump is the nominee for the Republican Party. He has picked his vice presidential running mate. It's J.D. Vance. So not quite sure how I feel about that. I mean, Vance pisses off a lot of the rhinos and a lot of the swamp creatures, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, I guess. He's a Midwestern boy. We'll see how he turns out. He hasn't been in politics long enough to be a completely corrupt piece of shit yet, so we'll see how that plays. I'm still not optimistic at all that the Republicans are going to come in and shrink the government or drain the swamp or do any of the shit that they should do. But on the other hand, the fact that it looks like the alphabet agencies are complicit in an attempt on Trump's life, maybe he'll actually do something and tear these motherfuckers down. And J.D. Vance has been on record as saying that he figures since the ATF doesn't do shit anyway, they should be dismantled. So who knows? Maybe we'll actually get some good out of this if they manage to get all the way to the November and get elected and not be cheated out of the fucking election. Because let's face it, at this point, there's realistically no way without cheating that they could beat these guys. The Vegas odds makers have Trump at like 71% right now. So that's... I'm sorry, 73% odds of him winning. So, and Vegas don't fuck around with these things. The only way they're going to win is by cheating. And we've already got states like Wisconsin and a couple other ones fighting to get mail-in ballots and drop boxes and all this other shit put back into place, which has really realistically been proven to be buggy as shit, to be insecure. They've got video of people stuffing ballot boxes in the last election. It's utter horseshit. And the fact that there are still people from this deep state swamp monster that are fucking backing this shit just tells you how unserious we are as a country. But again, I keep sidetracking myself with all this new information that's come out since the shooting. And the original thought I had is these smooth-brained, cran-eating fucks. Actually, I shouldn't say cran-eaters. That's an insult to every Marine I know. But ultimately, these smooth-brained fucks who had helmets on the bus so they wouldn't bang their heads against the windows while they were trying to lick them clean to get the boogers off, who are all mourning the fact that Trump didn't die, are fucking retarded. They are 110% fucking stupid. They drank the Kool-Aid, they fucking swallowed the poison, and they're fucking in for the long run. They're in for the ride, and they're fucking idiots. Because somehow they've convinced themselves, A, that this Cheeto-dusted bastard is the embodiment of evil in the world, while ignoring the fact that their party, that they are so devoutly loyal to, that they would unquestioningly do what they're told, are doing all the fucking things they're accusing this man of planning to do. Literally, the persecution of your fucking political rivals, the jailing of people that don't agree with your belief structure. They are projecting everything they are actively doing right now onto this man. And it's pushing these young, stupid motherfuckers to rhetoric to the point where someone snapped and tried to take him out. The problem is all these other smooth-brained fucks, all the people who are on their social media accounts posting, all like, oh, too bad he missed a couple inches to the right. It would have been better. And it was literally that close. If he hadn't turned his head, his brains probably would have been blown all over the front row. It was definitely serendipitous. If you believe it was a divinity of God, I think, believe it was coincidence. If you believe it was whatever, it was definitely a serendipitous act, because another quarter inch one way or the other, he could have had his brain splattered all over the fucking wall. So whatever it is, happenstance, circumstance, serendipity, God, whatever you believe, the simple fact of the matter is the man's still here. All these dumb motherfuckers that are complaining about that don't seem to realize it wouldn't have been like, oh, he's dead, now there's no more problems. this country is already a fucking powder keg, and I'm honestly at the point where I do not believe there will be a peaceful resolution to this shit show, regardless of who fucking wins. Neither side is going to accept the results of this election. That's the first thing. Now, 2 years ago, I would have said that's only a problem if Trump wins, because up until now, and it's even been said at this point, that the right don't riot. And up until now, that was definitely true. That was the case. Nobody boarded up their fucking businesses because they were worried the conservatives might lose a vote. Nobody erected fences around courthouses because they were going to put out a decision that conservatives weren't going to like. When you're talking about the most heavily armed individual population on the planet, nobody blocks off a court building when they're going to issue a new gun ruling. They put up security measures. They barricade their businesses. They lock down everything that they possibly fucking can when it's going to be a decision that pisses off the left. The leftists, the ones who are ruled by emotion and fucking pandered to and controlled through that fucking simple matter of being told their feelings are the only thing that counts. And they behave like immature children. They destroy shit when they don't get their way. Hell, they destroy shit when they do get their way. The left won overwhelmingly in France, and what was, despite the fact that all the EU victories went to fucking conservative parties, the local French government was almost overwhelmingly leftist because of a lot of shady shit being done, backroom deals and fucking last minute pullouts and a bunch of shady political maneuvering by the left to maintain their power grip in Paris, or in France as a whole. And Paris burned the next day. The cops were still being assaulted by Antifa assholes, and a bunch of fucking third world shitbags that had been imported celebrated the fact that the party that wants them there won by burning the fucking city down. So nobody worries about that shit happening when conservatives lose. Nobody worries about that shit because the right has traditionally been the party of restraint, the party of maintaining the moral high ground, the party of being able to say, we don't do that. These smooth-brained leftist fucks that are moaning that Trump lived don't seem to realize there is a very real possibility that would have been the catalyst that shifted that fucking window and would have put enough people through that said, you know what, no matter how fair we try and play, we're going to fucking lose because these assholes don't care. They just shot him because they don't like what he's saying, and there were going to be repercussions from that. There are going to be ripples from that. That may have been enough to actually kick off the civil war that people have been talking about for years in this country. The shit where they keep saying, you know what, this might happen. This might be the thing that triggers the Civil War. That might be the thing that triggers the Civil War. The Uniparty doesn't understand what they're fucking with because this is going to set off the next Civil War. This is going to be the Boogaloo. This is going to be the Big Igloo. This is going to be, we're going to be out here in our Hawaiian shirts and our NVGs, and we're going to show them both what for, goddammit. Well, the thing is, there's a lot of posturing, a lot of rhetoric, a lot of people saying these things. Putting a bullet through Trump's fucking head will galvanize those motherfuckers. I'm not saying I'm not saying a hypothetically. I'm saying at this point, I'm calling a spade a fucking spade. If I have my assigned, AI from the government that's monitoring me to put me on some fucking watch list because I'm saying this shit, so be it. Review the tapes. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not calling for this shit. I am predicting this shit. I am saying this shit as a fucking warning. Not that anybody that listens to this show on a regular basis needs to be told these things, because frankly, for all the ass kissery I do during the first couple of minutes of this pod where I'm trying to, tell you guys how much I really do value the fact that you guys care enough to keep coming back. You care enough to keep coming and listening to what I say. You value what I have to say enough that you give me your time. Money's not really that fucking big of a deal to me. I mean, yes, granted, I'm in debt up to my fucking tits, and I'm just like everybody else in the world these days trying to struggle to get along, and I could always use more of it, but at the end of the day, I don't really fucking care. I mean, I really don't. That may sound weird to say, may sound weird to hear, I don't know. It feels normal to me because at the end of the day, the money's there. The resources are there. It's always there if you're willing to go out and do what you need to do to get it. Some of us have to work a little harder. Some of us have to work a little easier. Some of us it comes naturally to. Some of us it's a real fucking struggle. Some of us have plenty of it. Some of us have none of it. Those of us who started out with none of it tend to appreciate it a little bit more than those who were born into it. It's just a fact of life. I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of rich motherfuckers. Don't let me misrepresent myself or try and act like I'm some kid from the fucking gutter, because I'm really not. I definitely grew up, middle class, average white dude with... I mean, yeah, things were tight, but they weren't fucking bad. My parents, I'm sure they went without some shit so they could provide for me and my brother. And I appreciate them every day, especially once I got to be a parent myself and I understood how fucking hard it was, but how much you wanted to make sure your kids have everything you could give them and the best opportunities, the best chance, because you love them. But like I said, I didn't grow up fucking struggling super hard. Yeah, sometimes things were tight. Sometimes we had to do without, but we had enough. We always had what we needed, and we usually had a little more. And that's because my parents did for us. That's because they did what needed to be done. I appreciate them every fucking day. And realistically, that's why I always say it, and I don't know if it always comes across, but I always mean it, where you guys give me your time. You listen to me. You allow me to be part of your day. And that time is something. Time is the only thing that is finite in this fucking world, as far as any of us are concerned, on a real material base level. That's all. We only get so much fucking time in the world. You can't get more. I mean, yeah, granted, you can take better care of yourself. You can keep yourself in better health and subsequently earn more time that way, but there's an investment in that. It's an ROI situation where you have to go to the gym, you have to work out, you have to eat right, you have to take care of yourself, and these things all take effort, and that you are rewarded with more time. So I appreciate the time you spend with me. But anyway, back to the main point. The whole thing is, like I said, these people don't seem to get it, and honestly, I don't understand a lot of people have been saying it for a long time, and I've said it to a certain extent when it comes to facets of the left, but it's like leftism, wokeism, all this shit. It is fucking mental illness at this point, because the reactions I've seen online of all these people who it's too bad he missed, like literally these dumb fuck leftist clowns having meltdowns that the shooter didn't manage to kill Trump. Like, they think he's going to die and that's just going to magically fix all their fucking problems because Orange Man bad and next Hitler and all this other horse shit. And they don't have any fucking grounding in reality that tells them how much of a fucking problem this bullshit is going to be. And they don't understand that the shit that is coming out of their mouths that they justify, they think it's perfectly okay in their mind because Orange Man bad and he big evil, him big scary. All the straight white men are going to rise up and crush our society if Hitler Trump gets reelected. These stupid motherfuckers, they're actively wishing death upon somebody for having opinions and beliefs they don't agree with. There are literally people making posts saying that one more dead Trump supporter is not a bad thing. It's a good start, some of these people have posted, and shit like that. They're spewing this fucking rhetoric. They are screaming because they are so invested in the idea that this man is the source of all their problems, the source of all the woes in the world, and if he gets elected, it's going to be the end of freedom and democracy, and they're all going to go in the fucking gulag, where, frankly, some of these shit stains probably belong. I really believe we should bring back the fucking mental institutions, because some of these assholes don't belong out in public. But they're carrying on in this manner without any cognition of the fact of how bad it would actually be for the majority of them, because they're not the fighters. They're not the fucking warrior caste. They're not mentally, physically, or equipped to deal with what would come after this. These are the same people that are really willing to send other people into harm's way to enforce their beliefs because they don't have some sort of mental disconnect that their thoughts, their beliefs, their values, if someone else acts upon them and the consequences come calling, they think someone else is going to intervene and protect them and save them, because the vast majority of these fuckstains are unable to fathom that they might have to do for themselves. And the ultimate thing about it is they don't fucking care. All the people who they envision getting between them and harm's way, they don't place any value on those people. They think those people are somehow obligated to keep them safe. They all have this delusional fucking take that they are somehow the main character and fate or karma or the narrative is somehow going to protect them when the bill comes due, when the consequences of their rhetoric and their fucking violent natures finally come around, when the people that just want to be left alone have finally fucking had enough. And realistically, I don't think these fucking clowns understand that when the people who have to this point shown restraint, the ones who don't riot, don't loot, don't go out and do damage and do violence, when they finally reach that point where they've had enough, it's not going to be like, yes, there's a lot of rhetoric and a lot of talk out of a lot of these guys where it's talking about, oh, well, we're going to change the government. We're going to, there's going to be a second revolution. There's going to be a boogaloo, and we're going to fucking overthrow the parasitical political class. And, well, I personally would be completely on board with overthrowing the parasitical political class because they're fucking worthless. That's what makes them parasites. I don't think a violent uprising is the right way to do it. I mean, it might be the only way that works, but the thing these leftist fuckwits don't seem to understand, because their delusion doesn't allow them to understand it. Their rhetoric, their belief that they are somehow sainted and they will be kept safe from any of this violence because Big Daddy government's going to keep them safe. These are the people actively trying to disarm their fellow citizens because they want everyone to be as unable to defend themselves as they are. That's the only way they will feel safe, because they're not willing to take up and defend themselves. So they are incapable of processing the mentality of people who are willing to defend themselves, people who are willing to take it upon themselves, the responsibility, the duty, and the danger of keeping yourself safe. When you're not automatically dependent on the state for your safety, for your survival, you have a different mindset than all the people who believe that that's the only way it should be. And unfortunately for these fucking leftist retards, they don't understand that a lot of people that are in the positions that would be commanded to defend them probably don't like them. In all probability, would disagree with their beliefs and their structures. If it comes down to an actual conflict, they somehow in their minds think all these people, regardless of their personal beliefs, are going to do what they're told because that's what they're being told to do by the government. And they don't understand the fact that people will not do that. They will not bow down and knuckle under to something that goes against their fundamental cores and beliefs, because these people don't have a fundamental core. Their fundamental core is servitude and weakness and a complete dependency upon some other power to provide for them. They are fucking sheep. They are fucking cattle. They are fucking retarded. They are smooth-brained idiots that don't see the higher-order consequences and somehow still think they're the fucking good guys. They think they can wish death upon other people for having a different belief, or for having a different set of values, and those different values justify thinking they are subhuman, they are not worthy of their lives, they're not worthy of their freedoms and their independence, because it doesn't align with what these selfish, cowed, weak-minded, weak-spirited, weak-souled individuals want. And since they can't understand it, they can't comprehend it, they don't understand the consequences of fucking with the situation. And like I said, they still think they're the good guys. They think wishing death upon people is justifiable in their minds because it's people they don't like. It's people that don't share their values. So obviously they're not worthy of life, freedom, pursuit of happiness, any of the things that this country is supposed to be founded upon. And every last one of these assholes likes to claim is being stripped from them while they are actively cheering the deaths of people just because they don't believe the same things they do. And then they'll scream about genocide in other countries that they've never been to, they don't understand the culture of, they don't understand the people of, but they know it's wrong because Big Daddy government and mainstream media told them it's wrong. And they will decry genocide, they will decry slaughter, they will decry people being shit upon and dying in wars on other side of the planet that they will never actually have to go do anything about, but they feel better about themselves because they said something. Meanwhile, they are every bit as guilty of doing that here at home, and they're functionally disconnected. They're fucking, I keep coming back to, they're fucking retarded, but it's retarded's not fair. And I hate to make it sound like some sort of moral absolutist, but it is a moral stance as much as anything else. And I have literally seen posts of these people who justify celebrating the death of an innocent person at the rally as, well, he must have been evil because he supports Trump. And that's how they justify saying, well, it's okay. And then mourning the death of the shooter. The shooter died before he could accomplish his goals. And my heart goes out to his family. He died. It's too bad that he didn't succeed what he was trying to do, but his heart was in the right place. You fucking vile, garbage human being. It's utterly disgusting. I mean, calling these people human is really giving them too much credit at this point. They really are closer to fucking cattle. Weak-minded, weak-spirited, fucking... They exist to feed the elite, and that's fucking it. And they somehow think they're smarter than you. They think they're better than you. They think that their lives hold more meaning and more value. And since you don't share their values, you are obviously unworthy of existence in their fucking world. And like I said, these are the people that are completely dependent on the system. These are the people that will act like, oh, well, we're the just ones, we're the righteous ones. But when actually called upon to act, they're not going to be able to do it. They lack the mentality, they lack the fortitude, they lack the character, they lack the qualities that are required for someone to be strong, independent, and self-reliant. And when they think that the system is going to keep them safe and it starts to collapse around them, they're fucked. The short-sightedness, the fucking blinders on, the myopic vision these assholes have. And I guess this is getting really long-winded, but ultimately, I feel like there is not going to be a peaceful resolution of this situation. I hate to say it. I wish that wasn't the case. But regardless of how this goes, I don't see it ending in any way other than in blood. I wish I could say it in a different way. I pray that it doesn't come down to violence. I really do. I don't want that for my country. I don't want that for my people. I don't want that to be the future my children or my child has to deal with, and my potential grandchildren someday. I don't want them to have to deal with that shit. And no parent wants their kids to go through that shit. Nobody wants to see their children suffer. Anybody with a half a fucking heart and any sort of brain doesn't want to see their people suffer. If you have any kind of soul and any empathy for your fellow man, you shouldn't be sitting out here celebrating any of this shit. But ultimately, I don't see how this can end anything other than badly. If the election goes through, regardless of how it goes through, one side's not going to accept it. If Trump loses, the conservatives are going to say that the Democrats cheated. And honestly, at this point, I don't see how they can win without cheating. I really don't. Just realistically, if Trump wins, the left is going to go absolutely apeshit. The metropolitan areas are going to eat themselves alive, because that's another indication of the mental instability, the depravity, and the lack of fucking thought that these assholes have. Is they destroy their own fucking communities. And that's something I hate to say, because it's been used in a racist context in the past, where weak-minded fucking motherfuckers will try and say that about this community or that community, whether, depending on whatever the flavor of bigotry and racism of the day happens to be, whether it was the black community or the Latino community or whatever. I mean, there was a time where it was the Irish and the Italian communities were viewed as, oh, they're less than, and their communities need to stay over there because those fucking people are violent, they're depraved, they're fucking animals. It's been said about every culture, every group at one point or another. But in this particular case, when I say those communities are going to eat themselves alive, it's the communities of these ultra-liberal, fucking weak-minded urban environments. The big, deep blue cities, the deep blue strongholds, are going to be where the results will not be accepted if Trump wins. If Trump wins, that's where the riots are going to happen. That's where the fucking looting is going to happen. That's where the fires are going to be. They're going to burn down landmarks and historical things, and they're going to destroy this shit. Major campus colleges across the country, because those are leftist indoctrination centers. But the problem with all the indoctrination and all the leftist-leaning motherfuckers and all the mentality of all these weak-minded, weak-spirited motherfuckers is, maybe it's inherently lazy, but they always start in their own fucking backyards. They talk a lot of shit, but that shit don't fly once they get within, 20 miles outside of the city. They're pretty much fucked. Suburban communities don't fucking care. A lot of suburban areas are by and wide much more conservative. They're much more community oriented. There's much more family values. And I hate to make it sound like it's just a family values thing, but it really is. It's a values thing. It's a we take care of our own mentality that stops a lot of that shit from happening. It's we don't see the value in destroying our community. We got to fucking live here. And for some reason, the leftist mindset doesn't understand that. You don't shit where you eat. You don't destroy the communities you have to live in. But the left has been programmed for so long that, no, it's okay. Go ahead. Destroy the cities that you live in because somebody owes you something. The government needs to come back and fix it after you're done destroying it, throwing your tantrum. The corporations have to bring business back because that's not fair if they don't. And they create food deserts and vaccination deserts and medical deserts because the Walgreens and CVS want to close because you assholes keep looting them. And the grocery stores want to close because they keep losing their asses on every store that's open in the area, and the employees get assaulted, and they have to fucking settle lawsuits because the employee just got his ass beat because he was trying to do his job and make sure the shelves were stocked, and some asshole knocked him down and stole everything in the fucking store. And the left encourages this shit. And the left, I mean, look at fucking California. Businesses are leaving every fucking day. People are shipping out in herds. And Illinois is not that far fucking behind them. I mean, the only thing that stops Illinois from being a complete shithole is the fact that once you get outside of Chicago or Springfield, that shit really don't fucking fly. But unfortunately, due to population density, Chicago and Springfield dictate the way the state goes. So we have a fat fuck spending asshole in charge that wants to tax everybody into the fucking poorhouse and drive all the businesses out of the fucking state. Meanwhile, making the state unaffordable to live in for anybody that's not, predisposed to being loaded like his family and his friends are, or able to be self-sufficient out in the country somewhere. And like I said, these urban centers, if Trump wins, are going to rip themselves the fuck apart. And then it's going to start to try and spread because you can only destroy shit so much before you have to move on to more valuable shit to destroy. And when the more conservative, more community-oriented individuals in the suburbs and further out into the country don't fucking care and don't lift a hand to try and help and refuse to send any aid to these communities as they destroy themselves, there's going to be pushback. And there will be some people that realize they fucked up. I feel like there's going to be a lot more spoiled little bastards that think they're entitled to something. They're going to come out into the country, and then they're going to find out that shit don't fucking fly, and there's going to be conflicts, and there's going to be fights. They're going to try and take shit that doesn't belong to them from people that don't have the fucking belief that they're entitled to it simply for the fucking fact that they exist. And it's going to get messy. And it's going to get dirty. And the uniparty horseshit swamp creatures are going to use that as an excuse to try and activate the military to go out and suppress the people that are defending their property rights and defending everything they've worked for over the course of their lives from a bunch of freeloading, temper tantrum throwing fucking pieces of shit. And that's going to be the thing that kicks everything off. That's going to be the spark that fucking ignites it. That's going to be our fucking, it's going to be a problem. I wish I could see a path where this doesn't end fucking messy, but I really don't see that happening. You got too many generations of fucking uniparty assholes growing division, pushing the narrative that this person is my enemy and that person is my enemy. I mean, and it's happened so fast. It's been the last 25 years, maybe. When I was a kid, I remember the idea that you could disagree with somebody and still treat them with enough respect and dignity where you could still function with each other. You could still be around each other. You didn't have to like each other, but you treated each other fucking decently. And somewhere along the lines, we lost that. We've got all these spoiled, whiny, entitled assholes who equate disagreement with fucking, I don't agree with you, so you can't have your belief. Your beliefs threaten my validity. Your beliefs are fucking offensive to my existence, and therefore you don't deserve to have them. And if you insist on having them, you don't deserve to exist. And it's such a weak-minded way to look at life, and it's so pathetic. It's so disheartening that we've gotten to this fucking point where these fucking retards think they're so goddamn important that their feelings should dictate how the world fucking works. And it's just like I said, I wish I could see a better ending in sight. And I'm hoping for the people on the outliers, the people out in the country, the people that are more insulated from the urban environments. I hope it doesn't get too fucking bad. I hope the shitstorms stay where they deserve to be. I feel bad for the people that are just there trying to survive and get by, but again, it's kind of like the whole thing I mentioned earlier about the money. If you're willing to make the sacrifices, you can get the fuck out. You may only be able to leave with what you can carry and what's on your fucking back, but you don't have to stay there. It'll be uncomfortable. It'll be unpleasant. It'll be hard, but it's not impossible. And shit, I guess for now, that's what I had to say. Thanks for listening to another episode, guys. If you liked what you heard, leave a comment, leave a review, leave a rating. Go to ihadtosayitpodcast.com, sign up for the mailing list, interact with the show. Click the links, sign up for the Patreon, join the Discord, come and interact, be a part of the show, buy the merch, support your favorite creator, or support me. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Till next time.